Chester Cheetah looks like the guy who gave you your first cigarette. He's your middle school best friend's older sister's even older boyfriend. He drives a red sports car and wears t-shirts for bands you've never even heard of. He's the kind of guy at your high school who has never spoken to you, but when a bully knocks down your books onto the floor, he's like, "Hey, back off, or you'll have to deal with me." And then he smiles at you and walks away, and you're like, "Wait, where'd that come from? It was so nice, but he doesn't even know me." He's so intimidatingly cool, yet still weirdly approachable. Well, that was very odd. That was part of an article written by Jordan Myrick, so credit to them for probably writing the weirdest thing I have ever read. And now that that's out of the way, let's get to the main point of this video, the history of Chester Cheetah. In 1948, Cheetos were introduced to the world by Charles Elmer Doolin. Now, although Cheetos were invented in 1948, it would take until 1971 for them to get a mascot. Now, what would this mascot be? Well, it would be an animal who loved Cheetos named Cheetos Mouse. Now, I talked about Cheetos Mouse in a different video. Alright, should have just linked on screen somewhere. So if you want to learn more about him, watch that video. And you can also learn about some other mascots. And yeah, with that, we'll move on to the next portion of this video. Created by Brad Morgan in 1986, the Cheetos Mouse would be replaced with another animal who loved Cheetos. And this animal would be the cool, sly-talking cheetah named Chester. Most of Chester's commercials would feature him attempting to steal some tasty Cheetos from people. Now, bear with me for a moment as we go down this very strange rabbit hole. Or should I say, cheetah hole? Nope, that made no sense. Alright, so, beginning in 1986, which was the year Chester was introduced, some talks began regarding an animated Chester Cheetah show. And this show was going to be titled, Yo, It's the Chester Cheetah Show. Now this show would have had a cast of cool animal characters, and one of these animals, of course, would have been Chester Cheetah himself. And the other animal characters would have consisted of a rockabilly dog, a hip-hop hippo, and a funky monkey. Now this show had some controversy at the time due to some people considering it nothing more than an advert disguising itself as a cartoon, which is a fair concern, and due to this controversy the show would end up being cancelled and never made. But we do have a few storyboards from the show. And although this show never came to fruition, a game that was meant to be based off of the show was made, and did actually release. And this game was Chester Cheetah's Too Cool to Fool, which was released in 1992 for the SNES. And for some reason in 1993 a sequel for the game was made, and the game was Chester Cheetah Wild Wild Quest. Seeing both of these games just makes me think, who was asking for this? Who was thinking, man, I wish they made a side-scrolling platformer game about Cheetos advertising mascot Chester Cheetah. That would be so cool. Anyways, going back to television commercials. In 2003, Chester Cheetah made the switch from 2D animation to CGI animation. In 2006, Chester Cheetah starred in an ad campaign, and in this campaign, the recipe for Cheetos was stolen by Chester Cheetah's nemesis at the time, Chef Pierre. And Chester Cheetah would go on an epic quest to get this recipe back from him and would come across Pierre's henchmen along the way. And while Chester Cheetah was on this quest to get the recipe back, the children at home and their parents, as is specified in the commercial, could go to Cheetos.com and would be able to solve clues for Chester that would help him track down this mythical Cheeto recipe that everyone wants apparently. And this ad campaign would end with Chester Cheetah getting kidnapped by the villains. But a bunch of agents would come and save Chester from the clutches of evil.
I see the stolen safe. You ready, X?
Don't worry, Chester. The plan's in place.
Uh-oh. Not good.
Mr. Cheeto.
Hand over the recipe.
They do not eat.
I too. Whoa, Chef Pierre.
Say goodbye to the Cheetos recipe.
You're the one gonna be saying goodbye, agents.
What?
The Cheetos recipe's been saved. Thanks, agents. We did it.
Wow, that was beautiful storytelling. Maybe that Chester Cheetah show shouldn't have been cancelled. It would have had phenomenal storytelling like this ad campaign had. In 2008, Chester Cheetah appeared in promotional ads for OrangeUnderground.com. And in these ads, Chester Cheetah became a creepier, almost antagonistic force, encouraging people to take revenge on other people.
Alicia, those are her whites in the dryer.
And after watching these ads, I have to say, I don't know what they were thinking. These are very odd Ultimately, this is how you want your mascot to be represented. In more recent years, Chester Cheetah has went back to advertising Cheeto products instead of encouraging people to commit crimes. And with that, that was the history of Chester Cheetah. And if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment, you know, all that stuff. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Then I get loopholes in my scruples. For the cheese that goes.
Crunch.
It's not easy being cheesy.